Welcome to the Chop Seat, where Braves country meets the big leagues. Your host Vic is here to break down everything from truest part to the top of the standings across the league. From walk-offs to wild trades, this is your seat for everything baseball, but a heavy dose of chop. So grab your glove and settle in, because the Chop Seat is open.
Welcome to the Chop Seat, your favorite place for Braves, baseball, and the rest of the league. I'm your host, Vic, and today is Monday, June 16th. We had a Braves Series W once again. Not too excited about it. You'll see why shortly. We had 9 sweeps across the league this weekend, so the brooms were definitely out. We have Ohtani is going back on the mound starting tonight. He'll be back pitching once again. And we had our first blockbuster trade of the season. We're going to get into that as well. So again, we have a few things to talk about, which is good. A very, very good, a very good weekend. So we're going to dive right into it. You know how we do here. We're going to dive right into our first segment.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, where we look at the previous Braves series. And Tomahawk Takes is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSEAT at SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. Again, use code CHOPSEAT for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. So we had a series against the worst team in baseball, like I mentioned in our previous episode, the Colorado Rockies. Rockies struggling real bad. And I was saying in our last episode that it really just felt like you had to sweep these guys. The Mets played them, they swept them. Phillies played them, they swept them. Everyone and their mom swept them. You played them once in Colorado. You were able to win the series. You took 2 out of 3, but you didn't sweep them. This team is terrible, guys. Terrible. And we saw that during the series. I think they committed about 7 errors. Or it might have been more than that throughout during the 3-game set. But again, at least they won the series. But it was kind of like you had to sweep the series. The Braves are now 8 games under 500. They came into the series being 9 games under. They came into the series being 29-38, and you had a chance to be 6 games under 500 if you were to sweep the Rockies. But now you're sitting at 31-39, and you're 8 games under. So you did, have a step up, but it wasn't the step up that we really wanted. But anyways, we're going to get into the action from the games. Game 1, the Braves win this one 12-4. It was started by German Marquez for the Rockies. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. He now has a 6.62 ERA. For the Braves, it was Bryce Elder, who had, like I mentioned in the previous episode, he was 3-0 coming into this one against the Rockies. But he just went 3 1/3, 7 hits allowed, 4 runs. All 4 of those earned, 3 walks, 2 Ks, and a homer allowed. He now has a 4.45 ERA. But the good thing was that even though Bryce Elder struggled in this game, the bullpen, they were able to come in. They came in and they pitched a 5 2/3 inning. And it was clean. No runs allowed. It was Aaron Bummer, Pierce Johnson, Dylan Dodd, Enya de los Santos, Raisel Iglesias. He had a clean inning himself. And Dylan Lee, he was the one that came in and got the final 3 outs. But this is how the action started. On top of the first, Ryan McMahon, this guy had himself a series. He homers out to center field on a 1-1 changeup that was right down the pipe by Bryce Elder. Hunter Goodman, he had singled with 2 outs previously. So he was driven in with that homer. That made it 2-0 Colorado. Bottom of the first, Ronald Acuna Jr. La Bestia, he leads it off with a double to left field. Alex Verdugo, he followed up with a single to right field. That made it 1st and 3rd with no outs. Austin Riley, he comes up. He strikes out swinging. But Matt Olson, he follows up with a sac fly to left field. That scores Acuna. That makes it 2-1 Colorado. Zuna, also, he came in, but he struck out. And that ended the inning, but at least the Braves chopped away at the lead that the Rockies had. It was 2-1. Top second, Mickey Moniak. That's such a cool name. Mickey Moniak, he doubles. Orlando Arcia, our old friend, he singles. That made it first and third. Keston Hira, sorry, I can't mention your name, bro. Keston Hira, he is hit by a pitch that loads up the bases. Bryce Elder, he got himself into some trouble. You're going to see why. He ends up loading the bases. Then Tyler Freeman, he digs in. He hits a comebacker right to Elder. Elder fields it. He throws it home. Sean Murphy throws that ball to first. That's a double play. That makes it second and third with 2 outs. But then Elder, he ends up walking the next batter, Jordan Beck. Bases loaded once again. How you load up the bases twice in one inning? Just ask Bryce Elder. But then he got out of it. He gets Thairo Estrada to ground out. That ends the inning. 2 threats neutralized. 2 bases loaded threats in the same inning were neutralized. It could have been worse, but he was able to get out of it. But then the top of the 4th, Elder, his struggles continue. He hits Keston Hura. He walks Tyler Freeman. Then he gets Jordan Beck. He strikes him out swinging. But Thairo Estrada, he singles, and the bases are loaded once again. 3rd time in the ballgame. This time with just 1 out. Hunter Goodman, he comes up to the plate. He singles in Keston Hura. That makes it 3-1 Colorado. Aaron Bummer, he comes in to relief. That's it for Elder. McMahon, he greets him with an RBI single. That makes it 4-1 Colorado. The next batter up, he hits into a double play. That's inning over. But again, 4-1 Colorado, ending the top of the 4th. Bottom 6, this is where the Braves, they start cooking a little something. Jake Bird, he comes in to relieve Herman Marquez. Matt Olson, he greets him with a double. Ozuna and Albies, they're both retired, so 2 outs with Olson on second. Sean Murphy, he ends up working a walk in there. And then Michael Harris II, he hits a 1-1 slider into the chop house. That ties up the ball game 4-4. A very, very much needed shot to tie up the ball game because, again, before this, the offense was looking dead as the same way it's been looking all year. And you were thinking they can't go down like this versus the Rockies. Again, like I said, they're the worst team in history. More than likely, they're gonna end up being the worst team in history. But anyways, Michael Harris II, he changes that up. He ties up the ball game. That makes it 4-4. In the bottom of the 7th, the next inning, with Verdugo and Matt Olson on the Big Bear, Osuna, he crushes a homer to left center field, a big fly for the Big Bear. That indeed gives the Braves that 7-4 lead that they needed. In the bottom of the 8th, the Braves, they end up putting 5 runs up in this inning. Nate Gallen, he had a sac fly. That made it 8-4. Matt Olson with a bases loaded single that cleared the bases, and that got him to 3rd base because when the throw was coming in to try and get Austin Riley out at 3rd, Arcia with the relay throw. The throw gets away, ends up going into the camera well. Riley is awarded home plate. Olsen, he's given 3rd base. So it was kind of like a little league triple, if you call it that. The Rockies had 4 errors in this game. That made it 11-4. And then Ozuna, he had a sac fly that scored. Matt Olson, that made it 12-4. And that was pretty much the ball game for game 1. Again, the Braves win 12-4. You know, it was a sloppy game at first, but then they caught some breaks and they were able to, put up 12, which was pretty good. But that's how the ball game went. Then game 2, it was slated for Chase Dollander. He went 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He now has a 6.57 ERA with a 2-7 record. And it was Spencer Strider on the mound for the Braves looking for his first win of the season. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs earned, no runs scored, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts. You heard that right, 13 strikeouts. He now has a 4.35 ERA, and he does end up picking up his first win of the season. You're going to see why. The Braves, they won this one 4-1. Bottom of the first, Acuna, he leads off the ballgame with a walk. Alex Verdugo, he does the same. Walks, back-to-back walks, runners on first and second with no outs. Austin Riley, he singles. The bases are juiced for Matt Olson, who singles in Ronald Acuna Jr. That makes it 1-0. Ozuna, he struck out on a foul tip. That's 1 out. And then Drake Baldwin, he grounded out into a double play. Inning was over, but still a good way to start the game. 1-0 Braves. You wish they would have got more there, but that's just the way the offense is. Bottom of the second, Nick Allen, he gets a 2-out single. And you know, Nick Allen, he's been doing pretty good getting on base in front of Acuna, which is good to see. He's been getting some singles, doubles, walking. And this is why it's good to see, because Ronald Acuna Jr., he smacks one high fastball out to left field for 410 feet for a home run. That's home run number 7 for him on the season. That made it 3-0 Atlanta. Bottom of the 5th with Acuna, he's back on second. Austin Riley, he hits a single to right field. That plays Acuna. That's 4-0 Braves. And then, you know, Spencer Strider, he was cruising. He was cruising the whole entire game. And then the bullpen came in. Rafael Montero, he pitches 2 innings, no hits, clean, no hits, no walks, no nothing. He struck out 4. That's 17 total strikeouts for Braves pitching. Then Dylan Lee, he comes in top of the 9th. 1 hit allowed, 1 run scored. It wasn't earned, and he got 2 strikeouts in his outing. That was 19 strikeouts total for Braves pitching. That set a new franchise record. The Braves ended up winning this one, like I said, 4-1. Impressive new franchise record. And the previous record was it was set in 2022 by Spencer Strider. He had 16 Ks on September 1st, 2022. So again, the pitching was phenomenal. And the Braves were able to score. Like I say, you got to score at least 3-4 runs, ideally 4, to win these ball games. That's exactly what they do. They score 4 runs. They win this ball game thanks to the pitching and a decent amount of offense. Game 3, this was a terrible, terrible game. I didn't watch most of this game. I'm glad I didn't. The bad thing was that I saw the ending of it, which is probably even worse. It was Austin Gomber making his first start of the season debut. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 4 Ks. Decent start for him. Not bad at all. Grant Holmes, he went 6 1/3, 2 hits allowed, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, 2 walks, 15 strikeouts. He got 15 strikeouts. He now has a 3.97 ERA and a record of 3-6. 15 strikeouts. You would think he will win the ball game. The Braves do not win this game. They end up losing this one by a final score of 10-1 against the worst team in history. And this is why I said in the opening, we got the series win, but it was kind of a disappointing one. It was just this game was just left a sour taste in your mouth. If you watch the highlights, if you were listening to it, it was just. I wonder what are the stats when it comes to that. I wonder how many teams lose a game when they have their starter strike out 15 batters. We need to look that up. If somebody could look that up, maybe Sarah Langs could look that up. I know she's awesome with the stats. But he goes again. Grant Holmes, he goes 6 1/3. He strikes out 15 batters. Still, the Braves still can't win the ball game. They find a way to mess that one up for him. Crazy, because you have Bryce Elder last time out. He was able, besides this series, his start against the Rockies, but again out there in San Francisco, he had a phenomenal start. Braves squander that one. So, anyways, Enyel De Los Santos, he came in. After Grant Holmes leaves the game, he didn't even record an out, guys. It was the opposite of Friday's game when the bullpen came in and they were able to be lights out. This was the opposite because he couldn't even get an out. He had 3 hits, allowed 4 runs, all those earned, 1 walk. Jose Ruiz, he came in. He pitched an inning, 2 hits, 3 runs, all those earned, 2 walks and 1 K. We even had a position player pitching for us. Top of the 9th, Luke Williams. He allowed a hit, but no one scored on him. So, hey, he might find a spot in the bullpen. You never know. He might be able to get a nice spot in the bullpen. Just kidding. Hopefully it doesn't happen again when we don't have to see him pitch. But that's what happened. This is action. Top of the 3rd, the Rockies, they score 1 on a sac fly. That was 1-0 Colorado. Bottom of the 6th, the Braves, they tie it up. They make it 1-1 on an Marcell Ozuna RBI single. Top of the 7th with this is when Grant Holmes is still on the mound. Ryan McMahon, he smacks a homer. That's number 10 of the season for him. This guy had a phenomenal series. That made it 2-1 Colorado. But you're still thinking, you might be able to get into the, still win this ball game, make something, a little rally happen. But that's not what happened. Braves bullpen, I should say. They gave walks, double singles, even a balk that scored a runner. All in all, it was a 6-run 7th inning for the Rockies. Then they scored 3 runs in the top of the 8th. That made it 10-1 Colorado. That's the ball game. The box scores 10 runs for the Rockies on 9 hits, no errors. For the Braves, 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors. Not a clean ball game. Just not clean at all. Very, very disappointing way to end the series. They won the series, but again, at this point, the way they're playing, 6 games under 500 is obviously way better than being 8 games under. And you're going to have a tough stretch of ball games coming up against all NL East opponents. I believe it's 13, 14 games. I got to look at my notes just to make sure. We're going to look into that on the Braves forecast. But again, it's going to be a rough stretch for the Braves. But we'll see. We'll see how they got a day off today. So we'll see how they'll fare starting tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for the series. Again, a series W, good. It could have been better with a sweep. You don't always want to ask for a sweep. I know it's hard to sweep. But if you ever had a chance to sweep a series, it was this one right here. It was absolutely this one. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. But anyways, that's it for our Tomahawk takes. Now let's head into our next segment.
It's time for the MLB.
Welcome to the MLB, where we dive into the action from across the league. And this weekend, we had 2 4-game sets that started on Thursday. We had the St. Louis Cardinals at Milwaukee. They end up winning the first 2 games. I was going to say Seattle again. I don't know why I always say Seattle. I don't know why I always want to say Seattle. It's crazy. St. Louis Cardinals, they win game 3. And then game 4, trying to tie the series. The Cardinals, they come up short. They lose this one. The Brewers win this one 3-2. In the series, Quinn Priester, he earned his 4th straight win, allowing just 1 earned run over 6 innings pitched with 3 Ks and no walks in Sunday's 3-2 win. Christian Yelich, he hit a single, a double, and a solo homer in that very game, so he was raking. Next, the other 4-game set was the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs, they win this one. They take 3 games. They ended off the series with a walk-off W. They won that one 3-2, walk-off in the bottom of the 10th. It was an Ian Happ single that ended winning the ballgame for the Cubs. Colin Rea, he pitched 6 innings. He surrendered 2 earned runs on 4 hits with 4 Ks. Decent start for him. Next, we go to Toronto at the Phillies. The Phillies, this was the first sweep of the weekend. They end up sweeping this one from the Blue Jays. It was Nicholas Castellanos. He hit a grand slam and finished with 7 RBIs in the 11-4 clincher on Sunday. The clincher to complete the sweep. That was on Sunday. Zach Wheeler, he went 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 9 Ks, no walks, and a dominant outing. And I actually saw that he announced he's going to retire at the end of his contract. That's what he plans on doing. I believe it's at 2027. So interesting to see from him, or maybe it was 2028. He'll be 37 years old. Smart for him. Hey, if you could do it as early as possible. Good for him. I mean, it's smart move. Hopefully he's able to win a championship. Who knows? Phillies have gotten close. Let's see if they could finish the job. Next, we had the Miami Marlins at the Washington Nationals. The Marlins, they pull off sweep number 2. They win game 1, 11-9. Game 2, 4-3. And then game 3, 3-1. Very, very close games, but they are able to pull it off. Here's sweep number 3. LA Angels at Baltimore. Baltimore, they sweep this one 2-0 the first game, 6-5 the second game, and then 11-2 on Sunday's game. And then Gary Sanchez, he had 2 homers in the series, including a grand slam. Charlie Morton, Uncle Charlie, he pitched 5 innings, 10 Ks, no earned runs. Good to see from Braves legend Charlie Morton, Braves champion. Don't forget Charlie Morton. Next, we had Cincinnati Reds at the Detroit Tigers. The Cincinnati Reds, they end up winning this series. They take 2 out of 3. They lose the first game 11-5, but they come back. They win games 2 and 3 by scores of 11-1 and then 8-4. It was Eli De La Cruz. He had a homer, 3 stolen bases in the series. And Nick Lodolo, he has 6 innings pitched, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts in the win. Good to see from him. Next, we go to Queens, Tampa Bay at the New York Mets. The Tampa Bay Rays, they sweep our friends. They took out the brooms in New York, trying to clean a little bit out there, and Flushing is a little dirty. So they brought out the brooms, a couple of pizza rats we taking off. Good to see from the Rays. They won the first one 7-5, second one 8-4, third one a shutout 9-0. Junior Caminero, he hits his 16th homer of the season, a solo shot. That sparked a 5-run 4th inning and an 8-4 Rays victory. And then on Sunday, he added another 3-run homer, number 17 of the season for him, and a 9-0 shutout. He just struck out once in 15 plate appearances. Very, very impressive from him. But again, the Tampa Bay Rays, they sweep the New York Mets. Frank, let me send a message to Frank the Tank. Frank the Tank, you got to chill, bro. You really got to chill. Take it easy, man. Everything's going to be okay. You just got swept. It's fine. Stop breaking glasses. Stop eating. I can't go near Frank the Tank. He sees these frames. He's going to demolish these joints. Take it easy, Frank. You're okay. You got a 13-game lead on us. I know we're about to play you guys, but it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be in the playoffs. Frank, take it easy. Anyways, next series that we had, it was the Chicago White Sox at the Texas Rangers. The Rangers, they end up sweeping the White Sox. Not really a surprise. They win game 1 3-1. Saturday's game, a walk-off. They win this one 5-4. And then game 3 of the series, they win this one 2-1. Well, let's see what else we got here. Another sweep. The Athletics, they sweep the Kansas City Royals. The Minnesota Twins at the Houston Astros. The Astros, they sweep this one. San Diego at Arizona. They almost got swept. San Diego almost got swept, but they avoid the sweep. They win game 3, 8-2. Then we had Cleveland at Seattle. Seattle, they end up sweeping this one. They sweep this one. J.P. Crawford, he had a grand slam in the series finale. Emerson Hancock, he goes 7 innings, no runs allowed, and 4 strikeouts. And then we had Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers hosting the San Francisco Giants. The Giants trying to get first place after beating the Dodgers in game 1. They won that one 6-2. But Ohtani, Freeman, and Mookie Betts and everybody else they have, all the Hall of Famers they have on that squad, they had different plans. They end up winning the series. Ohtani, he hit 2 homers and scored twice in the 11-5 victory. Clayton Kershaw, Hall of Famer, he fired 7 scoreless innings, 3 hits allowed, 5 Ks. Good to see him pitching good. So the Dodgers are able to hold off the Giants and hold on to first place. And then our final series we had, it was a classic rivalry. I can't even say that right now. You know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. It was the New York Yankees at the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox, they are sweep number 9. They end up sweeping their rivals in New York. Well, their New York rivals in Boston. They weren't in New York. But they won all 3 games. They capped by a 2-0 shutout on Sunday, marking the Yankees' first series sweep of the season. I mean, that's pretty impressive, though. If you're getting swept for the first time in June, that's pretty impressive, I got to say. But the Yankees, their offense was shut down. They scored just 4 runs in the 3 games against the Red Sox. Aaron Judge, he went 1 for 12 and 9 strikeouts. He had a solo homer on Friday. That was his only hit for the entire weekend series. His batting average dropped from 390 to 378. Hunter Dobbins, after opening his mouth the other day, he continues to pitch well against the Yankees. He pitched 6 shutout innings in Saturday's 4-3 win with 5 strikeouts, including silencing a budding Yankees rally. Brian Bello, he delivered 7 shutout innings on Sunday with 8 strikeouts, allowing just 3 hits. So again, they shut down the Yankees offense. Max Fried, he held the Red Sox to 2 runs in 7 innings, striking out 9, but he just did not get help from the offense. And Rafael Devers, he went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a solo home run. That was off of Max Fried in the 5th inning of Sunday's game. That was number 15 for him on the season. And guess what? That ends up being his final swing as a Red Sox player, his final homer as a Red Sox, because he is then traded shortly after the ball game. He's traded to San Francisco, to the Giants. This is who he was traded for. He was traded for Jordan Hicks, pitchers Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison, and 2 Class A prospects named James Tibbs and Jose Bello. James Tibbs, he's according to MLB Pipeline, he's the number 4 prospect for the Giants before the trade, of course. And Kyle Harrison, he was actually scheduled to start that night game on ESPN against the Dodgers, but he was scratched, so he was traded in that one. And it's just, this was a shocker, honestly. It was a shocker because everyone kind of had an idea that he would get traded, but not this soon. If anything, you probably would have thought that it would be probably like 20 minutes before the deadline. You know, those dramatic deals, but no, it happened in June. I know there was a little beef with him and Cora and the rest of management, and I get it because I don't. Red Sox fans, help me out, but I think it went like this. They told Devers that he would stay playing third base, even though they were gonna, when they were interested in signing Bregman. It wasn't like that it went down. It was, I don't know if it was before or right after, but they pretty much said that they were gonna sign Bregman and Devers will stay at third. Then after they signed Bregman, they end up telling him he's gonna have to DH, that Devers is gonna DH, and Bregman's taking over third. And I think they said that the quote that's going around is that they said to forget about his glove, throw his glove away, whatever it was, that he's not going to need it because he's going to be DH. Then the first baseman, Tristan Casas, he goes down for the season-ending injury, and they tell Devers, yo, go get your glove, bro, because you're going to play first base. Devers is like, nah, I'm not doing that. I mean, and I get it. They told you to. It probably was the way they told them. They probably told them in a nasty way, like, "Yo, throw your glove away. You're not fielding anymore. You're just gonna be DH." But now, after they told you that, after this guy goes down, which is obviously unfortunate, they telling him to go get his glove back. You're gonna go play first. He probably felt some type of way. And that's when he said, "Nah, I'm not playing first. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna stay being a DH." So that's where, that they had that rough patch. And I mean, he was still performing though. This dude was hitting, he was mashing. Like I said, when I went to the game with the series with the Braves and Red Sox over there at Fenway, when he hit that grand slam, that was a shot. The day before that, I believe he had that walk-off hit to win that Saturday game also. So, I mean, he was performing. He was doing his thing. But I guess it was just, they just got tired of him. They're like, yo, he's not going to be good in the clubhouse. I know they're probably trying to set an example too, because they have a lot of young players coming up. And, they're probably pretty much, Red Sox are probably saying, if you don't want to do what's best for the team, then this is what's going to happen to you. And I get it. I get both sides. I understand both sides. They probably wanted Devers to be more of a team player. But then Devers, he has his own point of view. But honestly, I think it's a win-win for both teams. This is what I want to get to. I think it really is a win-win trade for both teams. Why is that? And I want to know what you guys think as well. Send it in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. But I do think, obviously, the Giants, they do need a lefty bat, a lefty power bat. Devers is obviously that. I don't know. Well, then also, I don't know where he's going to play at, though. I don't know if they're going to try and put him at first. I believe Matt Chapman is down right now. So he's probably going to fill in at third for the meantime. But then maybe after he comes back, maybe they'll ask him if, hey, are you able to play first? And maybe he's, the way, depending on the way they ask him, and maybe a new change of scenery, maybe he's willing to, play ball and be able to make that step and play first over there in San Francisco. And if not, I guess they'll keep him at DH. But again, they need a nice lefty power bat. I can't think of anyone that's a power bat since Barry Bonds left that's a lefty. I can't think of anyone. If you guys know who fits the criteria, let me know in the comments, because I really can't think of a lefty masher ever since Barry Bonds left, and that's almost 20 years ago. So that within itself is pretty crazy. And then for the Red Sox, they're able to dump that whole contract on the Giants. The Giants are taking the whole remainder of that contract. I think it's $250 million for 8.5 more years. So they're getting rid of that. They're getting some young pitching in return with Jordan Hicks and these other guys that they're getting. Kyle Harrison, I saw that he was his option to AAA. I'm not sure what that's about. I really don't know what that's about. I don't know. What do you guys think on that? Let me know if you guys know the reason why. Maybe they want to keep having their younger arms up there. I don't know. That part I don't understand, but I think at the end of the day, it's a win-win. I think the Red Sox are still going to be in good shape. They got some nice young players. I think they're going to be able to hold it down, and I really, really do believe that they're able to get a wild card spot when it's all said and done for this season. And when they continue to get better for next season, they're going to have a whole bunch of money now. But now, as Red Sox fans, you got to be wondering, what are they going to do with this money that they just freed up? So, we're just going to have to wait and see to see how everything turns out. But I know it brings back flashbacks for the Red Sox fans, like when they got rid of Mookie Betts, that trade where Verdugo and whoever the heck else came over. I really don't remember. So I'm pretty sure it brings bad flashbacks when you think you have a franchise player and, you trade them away. But I do think they're going to be okay this time around because they have like I said, a lot of young boppers. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Is it a win-win for both teams, for the San Francisco Giants and the Boston Red Sox? Do you think the Red Sox still managed to get a wild card spot? And do you think that Devers is going to, join that ball club and be able to mesh well with them? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And, there's another fan base that's really, really happy with this trade. It's not besides the Giants. That's New York Yankee fans. They're happy as heck. Garrett Cole is happy. He's celebrating. They must be throwing a party out there in the Bronx after that, especially after getting swept. They're like, finally, we don't got to face this dude ever again. Because I know he was mashing the ball against the Yankees. But anyways, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think both teams are going to be okay. Again, Boston, they're able to dump that salary on the Giants. The Giants get that power bat that they need. And then the Red Sox, they got these young players that, they're going to be able to match. And I'm assuming Jordan, I'm not going to lie, I don't really follow the Giants, and I don't really follow Jordan Hicks on what he was doing. But I think they have the Boston Red Sox. I think they have Chapman saving out games. And, it's not Chapman in his prime. So maybe Hicks is going to be taking over that closer spot. I'm not sure. I don't know. You guys let me know about that as well. But that was a big, big blockbuster trade that we had. So that was it. Those are my thoughts on it. I haven't read anything else on it. And then the other news that we had is Shohei Ohtani. Like I said earlier, he's expected to return to the mound tonight versus the Padres. I want to know, how deep into this ball game do you think he's going to go? because it's his first start. He's probably just going to be an opener. So I want to know what do you think his stat line is going to be? I'm going to say he's probably going to go like what? 3 2/3, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. That's what I'm saying. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. How is Shohei Ohtani's first start going to go? And before we move on to our final segment, it is Monday, so we are going to take a look at the standings. We're going to start with the NL East. The Mets, New York Mets, are in first place. They are 45-27. They are 2.5 games over the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 42-29. Our Atlanta Braves in third place, 31-39, 13 games back. That's terrible. 13. Washington Nationals, they're 30-41. They're 14.5 back. The Miami Marlins, they are after sweeping, they're getting a little closer, 28-41, 15.5 games back. And the Nationals, eye on them. They're on an 8-game slide. And the Phillies, they have won 4 in a row. So we will continue to keep an eye on that and on the standings for next week. Next, we have the NL Central. The Chicago Cubs are in first place, 44-28. A nice, comfortable 5.5-game lead over the 39-34 Milwaukee Brewers. Cincinnati Reds, 37-35. They're 7 games back. So are the St. Louis Cardinals, the same identical record as the Reds. Pittsburgh Pirates, they're 29-44, 15.5 games back. NL West, the Dodgers in first place, 43-29. They just held off this team, who's 2 games back. That's the San Francisco Giants. They are 41-31. San Diego Padres, 39-31. Third place, they're 3 games back. Arizona Diamondbacks, 36-35. 6.5 games back. And the Colorado Rockies, I'm just going to say the record since they beat us that final game. They're 14-57, 28.5 games back. Whew. That's bad. That's bad. Anyways, American League standings, the AL East, the Yankees, they're in first place, 42-28. They've lost 3 in a row. Of course, they got swept. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're 3.5 games back. They won 3 after sweeping the Mets. They're 39-32. Toronto Blue Jays, they were hot, but they got swept 38-33 now. They're 4.5 games back. The Boston Red Sox winning 5 games in a row so far. They're 37-36, 6.5 games back. And the Baltimore Orioles, they won 3 in a row, 30-40. They're 12 games back. They're trying to claw their way back up. Next, we have the best team in baseball at the moment, the Detroit Tigers. They're 46-27. They have a very nice, comfortable lead over the Minnesota Twins, who are 36-35. They're 9 games back. Cleveland Guardians, 35-35, 9.5 games back. Kansas City Royals, 34-38, 11.5 games back. And the Chicago White Sox are just there. They're far behind, 22.5 games back. Everyone in the AL Central has a losing streak. The Royals have the longest one, 6 in a row. Detroit Tigers 2, Minnesota Twins 4, Cleveland 3, the White Sox 5. So everyone there is taking L's at the moment. And then the final division that we have, the AL West, Houston Astros, they're 41-30. They're in first place. They have won 5 in a row. Seattle Mariners, they have won 3 in a row. They're 36-34, 4.5 games back. Texas Rangers, they're getting hot. 4 wins in a row, 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're 36-36, right at 500, 5.5 games back. LA Angels, 33-37, 7.5 games back. And the Athletics, 29-44. They're 13 games back. That's the way the standings look thus far. We're going to take a look at them again next Monday. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. That is it for our MLB. Now let's head into our next and final segment.
It's time for your Braves forecast.
Welcome to the Braves forecast, where we take a look at the upcoming Braves series, and that is a huge, huge series against our NL East rivals, the New York Metropolitan, the amazing Mets. They've been amazing thus far. You got to give them credit. They have a huge lead over the Braves, 13.5 games over them. They are in first place, like I said. They're 2.5 over the Phillies, who are right behind them. And again, it's kind of weird that we're playing them for the first time in June. Usually get a series with the Mets probably like in the first 2-3 weeks, but this time they gave us some room to, play other teams. And then now we're starting to play each other because we have 2 series coming up pretty much almost back to back. The first game is slated for tomorrow, and that is scheduled start. The scheduled starters for that one is David Peterson. He's 5-2 with a 2.49 ERA. He's coming off that complete game shutout, phenomenal start that he had. He's going up against Spencer Schwellenbach. He's 5-4 with a 3.11 ERA. Game 2 is Paul Blackburn. He comes in with a 6.75 ERA, and he's going up against Chris Sale. Chris Sale, he was slated to start on Sunday. His start was moved in order for them to line him up against the Mets, and he'll be able to line up against them for their following series the next week. Good move by the Braves, but you can kind of see how desperate they are to try and get on the right foot, because this series could be pivotal. It really could be pivotal depending on how it goes. But Chris Sale, he's 4-4 with a 2.79 ERA. Then the final game of the series, it's going to be Clay Holmes, 7-3 with a 2.87 ERA. He's had a great year starting off ball game. Yankee fans, I know they must be punching the walls right now looking at his record. But he's going up against Spencer Strider, who just got his first win. He's 1-5 with a 4.35 ERA. So, it's triple S for the Braves, Schwellenbach, Sale, and Strider. Pretty much our best 3 pitchers going up against the Mets. All 3 games are slated for a 7:15 p.m. Eastern start time. And it's going to be, this is the beginning of a key stretch for the Braves, because the next 13 games, including these 3, are against NL East opponents. It's 3 against the Mets, 3 at Miami, then 4 at New York, again against the Mets, and then 3 back home against the Phillies. So it's a pivotal time in the schedule for the Braves. Again, the Mets are coming in. They're trying to bury us. They're going to try their hardest to bury us. The only good thing might be that they're coming off of getting swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. So this might be the best time to be able to face them. Also, they had Kodai Senga go down with that hamstring injury. He's probably going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, I'm guessing. I wasn't able to look into how long he's going to be out for, but you're going to miss him. Then you're going to get Paul Blackburn in this series, and whoever else is giving them a spot start the next series. So, again, very pivotal. And also for the Mets, they're playing NL East opponents as well. In the next 10 games, they're going to be facing the Braves, the Phillies, and then the Braves again, obviously, like we said. So it's very important for them as well. The Mets and the Braves, both teams that struggle hitting with runners in score position. It's crazy to say. Crazy to say for the Mets because they have an impressive record, but they hitting 247 with runners in scoring position. Braves are right behind them, hitting 245. So 2 teams that struggle. Excuse me, I can't even. I'm going to take a sip here. So 2 teams that struggle with runners in scoring position. So it's going to be interesting to see how the offense lines up with with the pitching staff that they're facing. Both pitching staffs aren't that bad. The starters for the Braves, pretty good. Bullpen, I believe, for the Mets has been pretty good. And their starters, Clay Holmes and David Peterson, they've been phenomenal thus far. Paul Blackburn, obviously, advantage Braves when it comes to that game. But you really got to try and hope to. It would be ideal if when these next 13 games, the Braves could go 10-3. But that's asking for too much. We know how this ball club has been playing. They're so inconsistent. But that would be great because that would put you one game under 500. But again, that's probably too much to ask from this ball club. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the Braves fare against their rival. And remember, most of the time, the division is won, but how well you play your division rivals. So again, the Braves are going to go this tough stretch, 13 games against their NL East rivals, and they're going to have to step it up. And one thing is for sure, the Braves, it doesn't matter how bad they are, they always seem to turn it up when they play the Mets. That is going to be important. Hopefully they're able to do it here. The Braves, all time, they're 5-12. Sorry, 5-12 and 420. 512 wins and 420 losses against the Mets. Great record against them. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see if they're able to turn it up against their rivals. They usually do it. It's usually a little bit later on towards the season. I'll be over there in August at Citi Field with my friends. We're going to be out there. The boys are going to be out there. The Mets, most of them are Mets fans, a few Yankees fans. I'm the lone Braves fan. But we're going to be out there, and I'm hoping that when I go in August, I believe it's that Thursday game, I'm hoping two things. I'm hoping that the Braves are in a good spot, that game is actually going to mean something for us, and I hope I get to see Frank the Tank. Frank the Tank, I would love to meet you out there at Citi Field. Anyways, that is the preview for this upcoming series. We even got a look further, a look further ahead into the games that are coming after this 3-game set. Again, it's 3 games with the Mets, 3 at Miami, 4 at Citi Field, and then 3 back at Truist with the Phillies. So it's going to be, like I said, a real pivotal series because, again, the Mets are trying to bury us, put us away. So put us very far away so they won't have to worry about us and just have to worry about the Phillies. But we'll see what happens. We'll tune in tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to send those comments, regarding Devers, the Giants, Buster Posey, man. Buster Posey, he's been showing how aggressive he's willing to go. I forgot to mention that. That is good to see from a GM. Send your thoughts in, send your comments in. And continue to share the show. That's the only way we're going to grow. So thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Chop Seat. I'm your host, Vic. And we'll see you probably Thursday or Friday. One of the two. We'll see. Probably most likely Friday when we preview the next series. So thank you guys again for tuning in. See you next time.